Okay, systems of equations. 6x minus 2y equals 1, then negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 5. So you have to solve for x and y. Okay. Okay. Alright, so you look at each equation right there. So you don't have an x or a y by itself, so there's no base, so you have to use elimination. So 6x minus 2y equals 1. If you want to make that a plus negative, you can. Then you align those into columns, okay? So that doesn't add to 0, neither does that. I don't have anything that's the same, so I have times by negative 2 up here, all of them. Then I times by 6, 6, 6, 6. Okay, so negative 2 times 6x is negative 12x. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4y. Then negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Then on the bottom, negative 2x times 6 is negative 12x. 3 times 18y. Negative 5 times 6 is negative 30. Okay, now you got the same term right there, but you need a negative and a positive. So you make that positive, then you make the rest of it opposite. So negative, positive. Now the reason you do that is because now these add to 0, 0x. Then 4 plus negative 18 is negative 14y. And then negative 2 plus 30 is 28. Okay, 0x can be taken out. Then negative 14 times y equals 28. 28 divided by negative 14 is negative 2, so y is negative 2. Okay, now I solve for x, so y is negative 2. So you take negative 2 times negative 2, that's 4. So 6x plus 4 equals 1. Then you can do your wall. So minus 4 from each side. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Then divide each side by 6. Negative 3 divided by 6 is negative 0.5. Okay, second example. 2x plus 5y equals 3. Then we have 3x plus 10y equals negative 3. Okay, so write your first equation. 2x plus 5y equals 3. Okay, so 3, so times 3, times 3, times 3, and then you got a 2, so times 2, times 2, times 2. Okay, 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 5y is 15y. And 3 times 3 is 9. Then on the bottom, 3x times 2 is 6x. 10y times 2 is 20y. Then negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Okay, the point of that, now you have the same term here. You just need a positive and a negative of the same thing. So if you make it negative, that's cool. You can do that, but you got to make the rest of the row opposite. So negative, positive. Okay, then we add, and that comes to 0. Okay, 15 plus negative 20 is negative 5y. 9 and 6 combine to make 15, so the 0x goes away. We have negative 5 times y equals 15, so we divide by negative 5. Y equals negative 3. Okay. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, so 2x plus negative 15 equals 3. Then you add 15 to each side. 3 plus 15 is 18. divided by 2, and 18 divided by 2 is 9, so x equals 9. Okay, next problem. 4x minus 3y equals 8, and then 5x minus 2y equals negative 11. Okay, so again, I don't have a base variable. There's no base to work from, so I use elimination. So write your first equation, 4x plus negative 3y equals 8. Now align, that's a negative 3. Now align those into columns, okay? And if I add them right now, that's 9x, that's negative 5y. So they're not going to add a 0, and not only that, those aren't the same, those aren't the same. So let's first try to get x's to be the same. You can also get y's to be the same, but I usually go for the x's. So 5, 5, 5. Then I got a 4 here, so 4, 4, 4. Okay, so 5 times 4x is 20x. 5 times negative 3y is negative 15y. And 5 times 8 is 40. Down on the bottom, 5 times 4 is 20x. Negative 2y times 4 is negative 8y. Then negative 11 times 4 is negative 44. Okay. Now I'll align them into columns again. Okay, you got the same right there, but they need to be opposites. So make it negative. You can do that as long as you make the rest of it opposite. So from negative 8 to positive 8, from negative 44 to positive 44. So that'll add to 0x. Negative 15 plus 8 is negative 7y. 40 plus 44 is 84. Okay. So 0x, you cross that out. Okay. Divide by negative 7. 84 divided by negative 7 is negative 12. Okay. Okay, so y, put in negative 12. So I take negative 3 times negative 12, that's 36. So 4x plus 36 equals 8. So minus 36, minus 36, so 8 minus 36 is negative 28. Divide by 4, divide by 4. Negative 7, okay, is your x. Okay, negative 2x minus 5y equals 9, and then 3x plus 11y equals 4 is what that says. Okay, so line those right out the top equation. Negative 2x plus negative 5y equals 9. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about this. So if I add them right now, I'm not going to get a 0 there or there, and I don't have the same. Okay, so I times, times, times. So 3 is what we're going to times by. Remember, it's all got to be by the same number. Just use the x number. And the bottom, negative 2, negative 2, negative 2. Okay, so 3 times negative 2x is negative 6x. 3 times negative 5y is negative 15y. And then 3 times 9 is 27. Now in the other equation, 3 times negative 2x is negative 6x. 11y times negative 2 is negative 22y. And 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Now the point of that is now we have the same thing with the x's. We just need one negative and one positive. So I can make that positive, but then that goes from negative 22 to positive 22. That goes from negative 8 to positive 8. Okay, so then I add negative 6 plus 6 is 0x. Negative 15 plus a positive 22 is 7y. And 27 plus 8 is 35. 0x goes bye-bye. So 7 times y equals 35. So you're going to divide by 7 and y equals 5. Okay, y is 5. Now we got to solve for the x. Okay. So negative 5 times 5 is negative 25. So you got negative 2x plus negative 25 equals 9. Okay. So we plus 25 to each side. 9 plus 25 is 34. And you divide each side by negative 2. 34 divided by negative 2 is negative 17. Okay, next problem. 7x plus 3y equals negative 12, and then we have 2x plus 5y equals 38. We have to solve for x, and we have to solve for y. So there's no base variable, okay? So that method can't be used. So we have to use the elimination method. And eliminations when you align them into columns and try to get either your x's or y's to add to 0. Well, that's 9x and that's 8y. That ain't going to work. And I don't have the same, so guess what? We're multiplying. So a 2, 2, 2. Do not go 2, 5, 38. That makes no sense. You have to. You can multiply. You can only multiply an equation if it's by the same number throughout the whole equation. So we got a 7. If I'm timesing this by 7, the rest of it gets times by 7. So 2 times 7x is 14x. 2 times 3y is 6y. And then 2 times negative 12 is negative 24. Now on bottom, 14x, 35y, and 38 times 7. I'm going to need a calculator to figure that out. It's going to be 266. Okay, now align your columns again. You have the same right there, but it's only going to add to 0 if one of them's negative. Okay, negative. But then 35 goes to its opposite of negative. 266 goes to negative. So now that'll make 0x. And then I go 6 plus negative 35, and that's negative 29y. Then I take negative 24 and add negative 266. That's negative 290. Okay, so you cancel that. So I divide each side by negative 29. And negative 290 divided by negative 29 is positive 10. Okay, so y is 10. Now we just put 10 in for y. 10 goes in for y. 3 times 10 is 30. Minus 30, minus 30. Negative 12 minus 30 is negative 42. Negative 42 divided by 7 is negative 6. Okay. Negative 6 with 10. Okay, next problem. 12x minus 7y equals negative 2. 12x minus 7y equals negative 2. And then negative 8x plus 11y equals 14. Okay, so align your x's and y's. Write your top equation. 12x plus negative 7y equals negative 2. And we have to, that does not add to 0, neither does that. I don't have the same here or there, so I'm times multiplying, okay? So negative 8, negative 8, negative 8. 12, 12, 12. So negative 8 times 12x is negative 96x. Then Negative 8 times negative 7y is positive 56y. Then negative 8 times negative 2 is positive 16. Okay. Now, negative 8 times 12 is the same as it is there. Negative 96x. 11 times 12 is 132y. And 14 times 12 is 168. Okay, now, they're not going to add to 0 unless one's negative, one's positive. So positive, but then the rest of these go to their opposite. Negative, negative. Okay, that'll add to 0 now. Now when I add, it's 56 plus negative 132 is negative 76y. And over here we're taking a positive 16, we're adding a negative 168, which is negative 152. Okay, see you, Mr. X. Okay. Now divide by negative 76. Okay, so negative 152 divided by negative 76 is 2. Okay, so y is 2. Okay. So negative 2 times 7 times 2 is negative 14. So you got 12x plus negative 14 equals negative 2. Okay, so you're going to plus 14 to both sides. Negative 2 plus 14 is 12, so 12 times x equals 12. Then if I divide both sides by 12, anything divided by itself is 1. Okay, so 1, 2. Okay. Next one. 3x minus 5y equals negative 7, and then negative 4x plus 7y equals 8. So we have to solve for x and y. Okay, so I align these columns. Because I don't have, none of these problems I have a base variable. I think on the last example I actually do. Okay. Alright, so nothing's going to add to 0 the way it is. I mean, that's negative 1 and that's positive 2. So adding here won't work, and you don't have the same. So you see a negative 4 there. That's what we'd want to times the top by. And we have a 3 here. So we want to times the bottom by 3. Okay, so negative 4 times 3x is negative 12x. Negative 4 times negative 5 is good. That is a negative 5 is positive 20y. And negative 4 times negative 7 is positive 28. Okay, and then the bottom, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12x. 7 times 3 is 21y. 8 times 3 is 24. Okay, now nothing's going to add to 0 right now. I mean, that doesn't add to 0, but at least it's the same term, which I can quickly fix. If I make that positive, then I'll add to 0, but then the rest of these then have to be their opposite. Negative 21, negative 24. So I add there, that's 1y, so plus negative 1y, excuse me. 28, negative 24, add to 4. Okay, and the x is gone. So negative 1 times y equals 4, so I divide by negative 1, and then y equals negative 4. Okay, then I put negative 4 into the equation for x. That's a negative 5 times a negative 4. Don't forget that. That's 20. So you got 3x plus 20 equals negative 7. So we minus 20. Negative 7 minus 20 is negative 27. And you divide by 3. Negative 27 divided by 3 is negative 9. Okay, so negative 9, negative 4. Okay, next one. 8x minus 7y equals negative 3, and then 6x minus 5y equals negative 2. Okay, again, no base variable that I have. So again, I'm going to write the first equation. It's a negative. Now I try to drop out either the x's or the y's. Well, that's going to add to 14, so that doesn't drop out. That's going to add to negative 12, so that's not what we want. And I don't have the same here or here, so I need to multiply. So I multiply by 6 here, 6, 6, 6. And then by 8 here, so then the rest of it has to be multiplied by 8 so it stays balanced. 6 times 8x is 48x. 6 times negative 7y is negative 42y. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. Okay. The bottom, I'm going to get 48x. Negative 5y times 8 is negative 40y. And negative 1 times 8 is negative 8. Okay, so we're going to add. Well, these aren't going to add to 0. You got to drop out negative 48. Okay, positive, positive. Okay, 48 plus negative 48 is going to be 0, so 0x. Negative 42 plus 40 is negative 2, so negative 2y. Then negative 18 plus 8 is negative 10. Okay, 0x doesn't need to be there. That can't, takes out the x. So negative 2 times y equals negative 10, so divide each side by negative 2, and then y ends up equal to 5. So 5 is your y value. Now find the x value. You substitute 5 in for y. So negative 5 times 7 is negative 35. Okay, so add 35, negative 3 plus 35 is 32. Divide by 8, divide by 8, 32 divided by 8 is 4. So 4, 5. Okay, I got 2 more in this video. Okay, x minus 2y equals negative 7. Then we have 3x minus y equals 4. So no base there, no base there. So I guess I'm using the same method. X minus 2y equals negative 7 plus negative. The 7 I already know it's a negative. Okay, it's all by itself. You don't need a plus negative a number all by itself. Okay, so 1 plus negative, put a 1 in front of that y and plus negative, so we're going to add. Sorry, I didn't do my columns very well. So nothing, the x's, that's going to be 4x, negative 2, negative 1, that makes negative 3y. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, not the same there or there, so we times the top by 3, then I have to multiply the rest of it by 3. Got a 1, so I times by 1. That is a negative 1y in the middle. It was just a minus y, but I went plus negative and applied a 1 to the front. Okay, so 3x plus negative 6y equals negative 21. At the bottom, 3x plus negative 1y equals 4. That's 6x, but if I make it negative, now it's 0x. But then I got to make these opposites too. You can't just make that opposite and not do the rest of the equation. So plus 1, negative 4. So negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5y. And then negative 21 plus negative 4 is negative 25. Take out the 0x. Then you divide each side by negative 5. And negative 25 divided by negative 5 is 5. So y is 5. Okay, now we've got to solve for the x. So we're going to substitute 5 goes in for y. So So we have negative 2 times 5, that's negative 10. So we have 1x plus negative 10 equals negative 7. So times, take your negative 10 to 0 by adding 10. Negative 7 plus 10 is 3. Now divide by 1, and x equals 3. 3, 5. Last problem, there's a little bit of a hook. I'll take you back to memory lane. It says x minus equals 2y minus 5, and then we have 2x minus y equals 11. Well, this is a little change in the fact that we actually have a base, okay? So we're going back to the old method of substitution. So that's your base. You write the equation that doesn't have the base. Apply a 1, a plus negative. Then what you do with the base variable is you remove it, you slash it out, and you're going to replace it with 2y plus negative 5. You just put that above. Now, write the equation with this in the parentheses. So you have 2y plus negative 5. Now, here's the parentheses. Here's where it ends. So after it ends, I got a plus, I got a negative 1 with a y connected. I got equals 11. And now I can solve for y because I have y and y. Now eventually I got to combine those, but first I apply the distribution. 2y and then negative 5, so that's 4y and negative 10. So I write the equation, the plus just drops down, and you got 4y and negative 10. Now you still have a negative 1y to add into the equation, and now you have two y's, two different y's, but they are on the same side. So combine them with the v, which means add. 4 plus negative 1 is 3y. And then we got the plus, those are gone. We have to add the negative 10 equals 11. Okay, so add your 10 to both sides, that's 21. Divide by 3, y equals 7. Okay, so now you're like, what do I do now? Well, write the equation where the x is by itself. Just copy that down. And y, 7 goes in for y. So we have, and by the way, 2 times 7 is 14. Now, what do you have now? You have x equals 14 plus negative 5. Dude, the x is by itself. You just need to add those. It's 9, okay? 9, 7.